Hello everyone. That's not usually how I start those. Hey guys, today we have more TANA MONGEAU Brooke updates. I spoke on the situation last time, so I'll just give a slight recap. If you don't know, then just go watch that video so I don't have to repeat myself. Subscribe to the bell icon for engagement. Let's just get into it. So, there's been a few rumblings on the internet. There's been a few things happening. If you guys don't know, TANA MONGEAU and Brooke Schofield run a podcast together called The Cancelled Podcast, where they discuss pop culture events in LA. And also they say stories about people. That's it. And then Brooke Schofield recently blew up even more massively because of her Clinton Kane series on TikTok, where she exposed her weird ex-boyfriend who is a pathological liar and killed off his family in a lie. She ended up getting a bunch of brand deals from that, a bunch of extra stuff. Even was going to come out with a clothing line, which now got cancelled because her past tweets came up. I talked about this in my last video. There was a bunch of stuff. She covered all the slurs. She really had a checklist and she checked it twice. There was just everything on there that you could have possibly imagined. Essentially, people were then expecting TANA MONGEAU to do something about it because she runs the podcast with her. Now, someone on TikTok said I was lying about this, and I'm not, and I don't like being accused of being a liar. But recently, TANA MONGEAU changed the name of the podcast to include Brooke Schofield's name, which made it seem like maybe they re-signed a new deal because it was under a contract where they couldn't change the name. And now the podcast says cancelled with TANA MONGEAU and Brooke Schofield. So someone recently said, no, her name's not in the title. It's okay, well, here it is. So that was wrong. Brooke gets cancelled for these tweets. She posts a bunch of apologies, deletes a few, disappears off the internet for a day or two. TANA MONGEAU then first supports her and says we grew up bad, I love you. Got a bunch of hate for it. Took that down, said she has changed. Got even more hate for that. And then posted a video. No, she posted a podcast episode on her own without Brooke. Well, actually it was with Paige, but the intro was on her own, where she was basically denouncing Brooke, which understandable, but also she is the co-host of the podcast. You can denounce her while also having her sat next to you so that she can talk about what happened on her own on her podcast that she co-hosts. But she wasn't on there. And at first, the comments were kind of supporting TANA MONGEAU, basically saying we love the way you've addressed this. This is amazing. But now if you look at the top comments, the vibes have changed. The vibes have changed for sure. This is how she started it. I'm going to put a 1.5 speed. You guys know the deal. This is the intro to the podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Cancelled Podcast. Obviously, as you guys can see, I am alone on this couch. Brooke is not here with us today, and I want to be abundantly clear that that was my decision. We all saw the tweets, and
people had an issue with this, basically saying it was my decision for Brooke to not be here because, like I said, the podcast now is run by both of them. It says cancelled with TANA MONGEAU and Brooke Schofield. But Brooke has then confirmed on the side that she decided also that she wasn't going to take part in the podcast. So it's very weird for TANA to be I decided that Brooke was going to be here. But also, can we just address the elephant in the room again? I just want to address it again. Okay, so what did she just say?
Obviously, as you guys can see, I am alone on this couch. Brooke is not here with us today, and I want to be abundantly clear that that was my decision. We all saw the tweets, and they're fucked up.
Stupid, right? You know you're stupid, right?
So, I know some people said that Brooke's tweets were worse because they were more political in nature, but I think we can talk about tomato, details, but at the end of the day, they're one and the same. So if we're going to cancel Brooke, let's cancel TANA. If we're not going to cancel Brooke, let's not cancel TANA. And I don't understand why TANA got on the couch and was we all saw Brooke's tweets. They were awful, while also having this out on the internet. And people are saying an age difference. I think in the tweets, Brooke was 17 and TANA in these videos was 15, 16. I don't really see much of a difference. But now the top comments are saying, I honestly wanted Brooke to speak here, arguably the place where she'll reach the most people, not just her TikTok followers. Completely agree. TANA cancelling her friend for bad tweets, knowing she has what she has tweeted is hilarious. That is what I mean. Not only what she tweeted, but the stuff that came out of her mouth, surely arguably worse because she was saying it. TANA's dead wrong for doing this podcast without Brooke. If anyone should be speaking on things, it's Brooke. It feels like TANA just wanted to throw Brooke under the bus and make it known she is not with Brooke. This made me like TANA less because she has no business condemning someone for something she did as well. TANA condemning someone on a cancelled podcast is wild. Does this girl not remember her old tweets and past cancellations? People are so quick to switch on you when they know their money is at stake. As a black woman, you gotta stop with this performative outrage. You're so quick to hop on some old ass tweets. Go right to your legislators, march in the streets, get real black friends in real life. Because if you had some black friends, you would know a white girl's tweets from a decade ago isn't surprising or doing anything to me at this point. I'm near 30 and I'm just over us combing over shit like this with a fine-tooth comb instead of people going through actual racists who are taking away our rights and actively countering any current progress. I can't read for shit today, so that's besides the point. I feel like Tana forgets that a huge part of the success she has today is because of all the second chances that she got along the way. I mean, second, third, fourth, and fifth, actually. I think Tana shouldn't be acting high and mighty when we all know she said the same things years ago. She shouldn't be for Brooke. She should be there for Brooke in private instead of coming for her on the podcast like this. Even if it is damage control, she's still being hypocritical. So obviously the comments have changed massively since then, and I kind of predicted that because I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's one thing to say, yeah, what Brooke did was fucked up, but it's another for Tana to say what Brooke did was fucked up. I'm not going to play her videos again, but you guys saw what I saw. We all saw the same thing. Since then, Brooke's mum has been like commenting under Tana's videos, basically saying, how dare you cancel my daughter? But Brooke told her to stop because obviously Brooke and her mum aren't on speaking terms. So we'll just ignore that for a minute. But there was a TikTok that she filmed with BB, who's one of her friends, and there was a comment that she liked under this video. I don't know where the comment's gone, but TikTok's the worst for like finding stuff. So someone commented, I love seeing you with a genuine friend who always sticks with you, and she hearted that, which people thought was kind of shade at. Tana Mongeau's got 16,000 likes. I don't know why I can't find it anymore, but it was under this TikTok. And then she posted a different TikTok with her cat. There was a comment that she responded to underneath. So here's that. She posted that after all of her apologies about a week ago. And under that, someone said, girl, you cannot just jump back online like this. Please take a break. And she said, genuinely asking why. I've spent years reframing my beliefs and I'm learning still, but I've always known what I used to stand for. This is not new to me. It's new to the internet. Now, since then, obviously people have been questioning Tana on, first of all, where is there going to be a podcast episode with Brooke? And two, where is Patreon content, right? Because we've all been paying a Patreon. I've been paying for the Patreon, and we haven't gotten any new content. They were supposed to... This lighting is garbage. And there was supposed to be a live stream with Tana and Brooke in it. That's obviously not happening. She then just kind of like skirted past that a little bit. And they're supposed to be posting extra content from the podcast episodes. That's obviously not happening. There's no new episode. People are just really confused, essentially. Tana, on one of her videos, someone said, I miss Brooke. And she said, her and I are shooting an episode ASAP. And this was after Alissa Violet posted a video on them, basically responding to the whole drama that they've been going through. But the episode is nowhere to be seen. But people are also now like demanding a new episode and Patreon content, which I can't imagine people not cancelling their Patreon. Because surely, first of all, regardless of what happened, both Tana and Brooke are problematic people and problematic content creators. And if you're okay with paying for the Patreon, then you were okay with kind of Tana's past and blah, blah, blah. And so you're probably subscribing for Tana and Brooke. But now Brooke has kind of been taken out of the equation. I mean, I'm sure there are many, many people cancelling their Patreons right now because obviously part of the terms is content from Tana and Brooke. Not just Tana, not Tana and Paige, Tana and Brooke. So I can see that maybe Tana's a bit like scrambling. She doesn't know what to do. She thought addressing it was going to get people to be on her side and be like, yeah, screw Brooke together. And now it seems like people are like demanding an episode from Brooke. They're demanding Patreon content. Tana doesn't know what to do because the comments under this TikTok have massively shifted. She just posted this like random TikTok. Someone said, Tana, will there be an episode this week? I'm losing hope. And she said, yes, please lose hope. It'll be a second. I'll do my best ASAP. This was after she already said that her and Brooke were filming an episode ASAP. And then she said, please give us Patreon girlie something. And she said a free month and content coming ASAP. But what about the people that paid for a whole year upfront? When do you get the free month? And if you guys don't remember, there was also an Alissa Violet situation that Brooke and Tana are both in. And Alissa kind of waited until the perfect time when Brooke's being cancelled to post her response. But essentially, they posted this video where they talk about the whole beef that Tana had with Alissa Violet. Essentially, Alissa Violet called her out for being a mean girl and like calling Jason Nash like a broke beggar on the street and just begging for money on TikTok Live. And Alissa obviously called her out for that. And then they end up having some beef back and forth that Brooke got involved in. Tana's beef with Alissa Violet. And they talk about the whole situation here.
Person who's kind of like you, Tana, where a lot of people on the internet rally behind, like they just hate her. Okay, it's a thing. It's like there's a lot of people against her, so I think that it was like kind of targeted specifically to her because she knew that she could.
You guys get the vibe. They talk about basically the whole drama with Alissa, and Brooke talks about they got on the phone call and Alissa basically said, I know Tana gave you your career and so you can't speak against her, but you know this is wrong, I know this is wrong. That whole thing, okay? Alissa Violet then goes on to post a YouTube video saying, my response, it's like prompt. It's only 12 minutes as opposed to their video that is like an hour and a half.
because everything turns into a he said, she said scenario because there's no fact checking. I could technically go on a podcast and fabricate an entire story about somebody and speak as if it's a fact, and the internet would just believe me, and my audience would go and attack that person. I don't think that's fair, and I definitely don't believe in weaponizing a fan base. Since I made my first video, I've tried to handle this offline, behind closed doors, to avoid more attention, and I've spoke to these girls separately. So then on her podcast, Tana and her co-host Brooke made some pretty serious accusations about me, one of which saying I was inquiring to Tana about making an OnlyFans account, therefore implying that I'm some sort of hypocrite. I'm gonna show my conversations with her throughout the years regarding this.
Okay, so she doesn't go through these, but I'm gonna go through these. It seems to be that Tana is more so encouraging Alissa to start an OnlyFans rather than Alissa asking Tana how to start an OnlyFans, and Alissa seems to be declining the offer. So she said, tell me your thoughts on OnlyFans. There's no amount of money in the world. Ha, respect it. Had to ask, why. I was going to pitch making you a bag. How to make an OnlyFans. Yes, you'd make multi-millions, no questions. And Tana did have like that thing where she would help girls do an OnlyFans and then she would take like a cut of it, almost a bit like an online pimp. No offense, allegedly. So I don't know if this was part of that, maybe. I mean, you could wildly control the narrative, and obviously she's sending this whole paragraph about how she doesn't have to show nudes, and then she says you'll make minimum 500k a month. It's wild, I'll think about it. You could promote it with full honesty, I know, but I swear to God, people make the fucking most of it, blah, blah. You'll be buying a house and a Lambo after 6 months. And then she goes, hey. Then she goes, start an OnlyFans, we're begging. Never. So it just seems like that was a lie. Tana Mongeau told a lie. We're all shocked. And
I've always politely declined. Pause to read. Another accusation was that I texted her co-host Brooke that Tana gave you a career, when in fact I texted who you said gave you a career.
Right, so literally says it right here. I understand you have to publicly defend your co-host who you said gave you a career, but to throw me under the bus after you privately told me something so different is wild. I just said, be fucking for real. So obviously don't know what happened on the phone or what the previous messages are, but that's the vibe.
All alluding to the conversation Brooke and I had on the phone a week prior, where Brooke said the words, and I quote, I have to be careful because it's Tana's podcast and she's pretty much gave me a career, so I don't have any editing rights, end quote. Brooke said that, I didn't. I think that's mean, I would never tell somebody that. Brooke also stated her distaste for the gossip and drama surrounding the podcast and hates spreading misinformation. I actually had a really good conversation with her on the phone, and I thought she was like a super sweet, well-rounded person with good intentions and a good heart, a good head on her shoulders. I actually followed her on TikTok right after that call. I thought she was cool. Never in my life would I think that this woman would completely 180 flip-flop on me and go off on her next podcast. So fast forward to their episode, they proceed to bully me and write a poem about me and share stories and come to the conclusion that I'm the meanest girl in LA after they already slandered my name and came up with false accusations. Tana, I didn't realize that you had such a problem with me. We've always been cordial. I've never said anything bad about you to this day. I could have said something when you hooked up with my ex, when you tried to continue to hook up with my ex after we broke up, when you married my other ex on camera after I came out about my abuse with him. So I've stayed fine with you throughout all that, so I'm confused where all this is coming from. To be clear, I don't have a problem with you when I could have for a very long time. Okay, so moving forward. The entire theme of this is that Alyssa's a mean girl, right? But they're leaving out some very important context of 2016, 2017, 2018
She then goes on to kind of excuse her being a people because she got screwed over a lot, and then she says that now she's like a nice person, but that she used to be a and which is basically what Tana said. Tana said you were a and you're saying, no, I wasn't a I was just a So they're kind of missing each other in communication. I don't know. Something's gonna miss. But she also talks about how allegedly the Tessa Brooke story isn't true. I don't know if it's at the beginning of the video.
I saw this creator named TANA MONGEAU make video after video making fun of other creators on TikTok. She also has a podcast where her and her co-hosts sit on a couch once a week and negatively gossip about Los Angeles celebrity drama. So I saw a few TikTok clips from their podcast, and Tana's assistant had a very nasty story about this other creator who happens to be a very good friend of mine. This story sounded so absolutely bogus to me, so I actually confirmed later on from a couple other creators, one of them being Tana's podcast co-host Brooke on the phone, pretty much confirming that this never happened and the whole story was fabricated in order to get views and a story for the podcast. So this creator, my good friend, was getting so much hate due to this fake encounter that she had to turn off her commenting, stop posting altogether, and pause all of her paid collaborations. She was receiving death threats. So moving forward, over the next few days, I continue scrolling on TikTok
and then she talks about Jason Nash. Obviously that's her weaker point because no one likes Jason Nash, but that's... And then I saw that allegedly FaZe Banks tweeted about this. Oh, he said, Tana is literally family and Alissa is my ex-wife. Love them both to death. However, it would feel wrong to not speak on the recent drama. I saw firsthand exactly what Liz described life to be like in LA during this time. She makes valid points. Literally, there are random LA girls who I've slept with making TikToks about how Alissa was rude to them. No shit, I'm not proud of any of it. Alissa and I are and have been in a great place for years. She's definitely not perfect, none of us are, but she takes accountability for that here. Valid response to the mean girl narrative. Proud of her. And apparently Tana tweeted something but then deleted it. I hate when people do that. Like, just say it. Just say it and keep on saying it. There's obviously a reason why she deleted it with the tweets that she put out. I don't know what the story is. And, you know, there's this response. I miss Brooke. Her and I are shooting an episode ASAP. I wonder if it was because of the Alissa video, but I don't know what they can say. They're pretty much like a low right now. Not only is Brooke getting cancelled, Tana's past is getting dragged up. Tana's then getting called out for being a bad friend and a hypocrite. Alissa's kind of calling them out, and it all makes sense from her side of the story. The screenshots add up. What she's saying adds up. It's just not a great vibe, and I can imagine people are kind of saying, hey, give me my Patreon money back, and I don't want to watch you guys anymore. I think that's it. I think that's all the updates to the Tana, Brooke, Alissa situation. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the bell icon for engagement. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.